Okay, welcome to Sama, Seattle Circuit Music and Art. We're in Seattle, but we're literally all over the world because it's the world that we're living in right now. We are sharing music from all over the world, focusing on the spiritual and sacred and healing traditions throughout the world that in many ways will help us deal with the difficult times that we're in the Western world, especially that we're living in right now. So tonight we have a very special Sama. Artists tonight are Kiran Ahluwalia and Rez Abbasi. Now, I've known Kiran for quite a while. She is the winner of 2 Juno Awards. Junos are the Canadian Grammys. She's released 7 albums, each one distinctive and pretty amazing. The most recent one is 7 Billion on 6 Degrees Records. Both a lyricist and composer. Kiran's songs speak of cultural intolerance, fighting civil wars within ourselves, and realizing female desire by throwing away shame. Now, Rez was born in Pakistan, raised in California. He is considered one of the foremost modern jazz guitarists performing today. He studied both jazz and classical music at the University of Southern California and in the Manhattan School of Music. He's got a new record that just dropped, I think, a couple of days ago. I'd say, I want to say homage. He's playing work of Django Reinhardt. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to hear some music, and we're going to be raising some funds for a food bank in New York City. So welcome, Kiran.
Hey.
I'm Rez.
Hello.
Okay. First off, thanks for being here, both
Thanks
of
for
you.
having us.
How are you surviving?
How are we surviving?
Yeah.
Well, because we have each other, and we're both musicians, and music is a vital part of our survival, just mentally and emotionally. And because we're together and we can make music together, we're actually, we're not doing that badly. We're okay. Of course, there are moments of depression because all of our concerts are canceled until next July. And it took, at least a year, if not 2 years, to put all those tours together. And they're just, all that's gone, poof, away. And that's sad. And there are a whole bunch of other sad things. But, when I hear about a lot of other people, my friends who are not that well, I would say that we have less to complain about, is what I would say. What would you say?
No, I would agree with that also.
Let's hear some music. We're also we're going to be focusing on your work, and I've been a fan for a long time. But let's hear a song because we are also we're having a little bit of a fundraiser right now with live concerts streaming. So let's hear a track.
Okay, so this is a track called Bokuch. And the lyrics are written by Pakistani-Canadian writer Tahira Masood, and it's a melody that I composed. And the song is talking about someone that she's madly in love with. And so she's heard that he has had a falling out with the company that he's been keeping. So this has raised her hopes that maybe he's going to turn around finally and look at her for her company.
Perfect.
And we're raising the money for the food bank of New York City. Yeah, that's the donation.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Thank you for doing it. वो कुछ ऐसे मन में समाए हुए हैं, ऐसे ख्यालों पे छाए हुए हैं.
And I need to ask a quick question. Why music in your lives? What was it? Was it like the family business, or was it? Why choose music?
Definitely not the family business.
Nope.
Oh no.
Let's open up that can of worms.
I mean, I don't want to be cliched, but it chose me. So.
Okay, why? When did you know that it chose you? When was the moment that it?
Probably when I was just really introduced to it through my family. Uncle brought home a couple guitars. My brother and I started competing on the guitar. I was 11 years old, and it was kind of obvious I had the talent.
He did not.
Well, he went into real estate, so it's a good relationship. But
you support each other.
Well,
yeah,
to some degree.
Exactly. Yeah. And for me, both of our parents are not full-time professional musicians, both of our sets of parents, but they are hobby singers, and and it's a very passionate, serious hobby for both sets of parents. And so my parents were my first teachers of music. But my dad's in science, my mom's in accounting, and but they wanted me to have music in my life, and so I grew up with music. And then when I wanted to take the leap and make it a full-time career or my full-time thing to do, then there were a lot of arguments. A lot of doors were slammed, tears were shed, and they were not into it because they were afraid of my economic future.
Yeah.
But when they saw that this was the only thing that was going to make me happy, they did eventually concede, and then they've been huge supporters of my career ever since.
And your career.
They've watched every live stream we've ever done during COVID.
Yeah.
So
Let's hear some more music, and let's hear you've got Rabaru and Gulabi Anken. Let's hear those two songs back to back right now, because I want people to experience your music more so, and then we'll have a conversation before the next song.
Okay, do you want me to tell you what Rabaru is about,
Yeah,
or no?
yeah,
Okay.
please.
And then Gulabi Aankhein after it?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what Rabaru is about. Rabaru is actually a song I wrote, lyrics and melody, about my love, Rez, and he arranged it. And it's a song that's saying that I want not just one lifetime with my beloved, but 7 lifetimes with my beloved.
Wow.
Yeah.
tell me about it.
You guys should go into couples counseling.
Couples therapy?
Offering
Yeah.
offering. That's amazing. I hope it's true.
That's
After I'm predicting after the 4th life we will be ending up there. So everybody's got nothing wrong with couples therapy now. You
No. I'm just saying, ask therapists, be therapists. You guys seem to have a pretty magical thing. Okay, let's hear this song.
गुलाबी आंखें जो तेरी देखी शराबी ये दिल हो गया संभालो मुझको ओ मेरे यारो.
Beautiful. That was really. That was the first time you guys played that live?
That is the first time we've played it live, and we've played it together maybe 2.5 times.
I don't know where you get the half from. What happened? The food was burning or something?
Like, no, we just did half of
we
it.
forgot about dinner.
Yeah, we just did half of it, and then we started again. So that is a 70s Bollywood classic, Gulabi Aankhein. It's talking about a guy who's describing someone he's in love with and saying, your rose eyes have made me intoxicated to such an extent that I'm angry at love because I'm wild. And so like usually we do originals or some trad folk stuff and Qawwali stuff, but the reason why we picked this up is because during COVID, Rez has been learning cooking, and I've been learning guitar from Rez.
You're picking up guitar. Rez is learning how to cook, which is awesome. What are some of the other things that you guys are doing to help to use this time as an opportunity to create? An opportunity to do things that you wouldn't usually do, because, as I said, there's a cadence. This is, you're working musicians. This is what you do. This is like, and that's a cycle. And then there's not much room for learning guitar or learning cooking. So I'm just curious if you could speak to that a little bit. Like, what do you do? What are you doing in this really interesting time?
For me, learning guitar and composing new songs pretty much takes up a lot of time. I'm also trying to get better at my hand percussion because it's just the two of us when we do live streams, and so Rez likes to have something behind his solos. So between the trying to get the percussion down and composing, and setting up the live, learning the tech of live stream. Takes
Yeah.
a lot of time.
It's a new world.
Doing a lot of research to find out which mics to buy. This is a new mic that I'm testing out. I have another new mic that I'm going to test out and return one of them. And my guy at Sweetwater knows I'm returning one of them.
It's
so I'm
okay.
not-
We're,
yeah.
we're all in the same boat. It's all-
And so that's and then so that's takes up a lot. Oh, and I'm learning French, which I've been always doing that. How about you?
I think that's a question for every musician and I suppose artists of every sort, actresses. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I was just reading an article like what series are actually going to be canceled next season because whatever. I mean, how are they supposed to fulfill their 20 episodes or 10 episodes that they had to do the last 6 months? So
Yeah.
but honestly, boy, I've been trying to myself to use this situation as something not to fill up with more things to do, actually, believe it or not, because that's my
hard.
life that's most of our lives all the time. So in a way, I guess you could say it's just on a spiritual bent. It's sort of like, how can I just sit and do nothing? And since I'm not going on the road, I'm not really preparing for anything other than some of these, and and I want to do some solo guitar stuff, but I'm not really preparing for a concert. So, or a tour. So I sit there and then I think, okay, what can I do? And then I catch myself and say, look, all the sages and they all talk about not doing stuff all the time. So I've been preparing myself for a little bit of that paradigm shift.
I will say though that you have had recently a record released. So when did it release?
August 28th.
Okay, so it was last week.
Yeah, last week.
Or was it this week? I don't even know.
Last week.
Last week.
It was this week? Okay. It was this week. So you've been working on that, which is,
Yeah, that's been fun to see, get the feedback. It's if you don't mind me plugging. But
he had an interview before this. He had an interview for the record.
Plug away. We're here. All boats rise.
No, that's okay. It's a new record called Django Shift, and it's based on the music of Django Reinhardt, his compositions. I don't play in that style, and if you want to call it gypsy jazz, it's not really the proper term, but there is, I guess you can, most people hear it as that, but it's a swing kind of music, and but I don't necessarily play in that way at all, but I've recontextualized them in a very modern, in my own way, his compositions. And
what are you doing to keep your batteries charged in that way?
Batteries charged for.
Like you're not seeing shows anymore. You're not going to concerts. You're not seeing other musicians. So you're not getting that live experience from artists. So I'm curious.
Well,
what you guys are doing.
I'm watching a lot of live streams.
Okay.
So one of the first when COVID first hit, in one of the first people, the first cultural responders was Canada's NAC, National Arts Centre in Ottawa, a big, huge thing. Yes, awesome. And so they were the first cultural responders, and they started hiring Canadian musicians and paying them very nice fees to do live streams. And of course, we did a live stream for them as well. But that sustained me for a while. Every night, they had like maybe 5 live streams a day. There were other places in Canada as well that did a lot of live streams. So in the beginning, for 2, 3, 4 months, maybe I was watching a lot of live streams. Now I'm also watching like online workshops, like jazzvoice.org is a wonderful online portal that my friend Alexis has started, and like Sheila Jordan just gave a master class online, and it's on Zoom, and other people are singing, and Sheila comments on their singing. So I watch a lot of that. So
you're educating still.
I'm totally educating.
Yeah, that's sort of in our blood. We can't help to do that. I mean, it's sort of like we can't ignore the fact that we are bound to like growing all the time and learning information. But you know what I was talking about before is just stepping back from that. You know, especially in this sort of given time. I mean, if you can afford it. I mean, you know, we get help from, you know, unemployment and all that stuff also.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, and I have a lot of friends who are also, because it's nowhere to turn to as a musician. I mean, you can't bail on that. I mean, I'm doing some teaching, but it's not the same. Like Zoom is just not.
It's not the same thing.
You know, Zoom or Skype. Just, yeah, I mean, you know, I was just thinking the other day, like, what if we went through this like in 1918 or even just 20 years ago when we didn't, 30 or whatever, when we didn't have all this entertainment at home, like this
That's
whole
true.
YouTube thing. I mean, YouTube, I've outdone myself on YouTube. I mean, I'm just on there.
It could be a wormhole. You could find yourself like hours later, like, what
It's
did I just-
incredible. But I mean, imagine if no one had access to all that 25 years ago, even. How would everybody's brain just be conducting?
You'd read a
itself?
lot. You'd be listening to a lot of records. I mean, we had a pandemic, you know, the Spanish influenza, and as a species, we survived, and music played a role. Let's hear another song, please. Let's hear Coca.
Sure. So this is a song called Coca, and Coca means nose ring, and I'm wearing a nose ring, which I'm going to show you all.
Careful.
Right there. And so the song is about a girl who's. The song is about a girl in the villages of Punjab, and she's trying to convince her lover that he should go to the market and buy her a nose ring. Not because she needs proof of love, but like, you know, it's those people over there, the neighbors, need proof, are asking proof. Like, oh, does this guy really love you? I'm also fixing this thing over here. Yeah, does he love you? So, so she's trying to get him to buy her a nose ring, a Coca nose ring. कोका कड़वा देवे मैया कोका रेहानिया कोका कड़वा देवे मैया कोका करके कॉल.
That's off your first record, right?
That is off. Yes, that's correct. That's off our first record. Yep.
That's great. That's awesome. Hey, thank you for sharing your work. Thank you for the time. Thank you for being available. Thank you for continuing to create. That is the most important part. As creators, as artists, if you stop, that is a bad sign for all of us out there. So even though things are difficult, it's heartwarming to hear that you're continuing to evolve and to grow even.
Thank you.
Rez, Kiran, thank you. Be well, stay safe, and we'll catch you soon.
Thank you. Stay sane, everybody.
Go try.
Bye-bye.
Bye.